Hi and welcome to my 16th tutorial. In this tutorial we will expand our knowledge about classes by introducing constructors. As you know from the previous tutorial, classes let us define objects that are basically new data types, like integer, float, double, but can contain functions, so they can do stuff. One of the most important things of data types is the ability to initialize via declaration. Constructors add this ability to our classes. First, let's create a class that doesn't contain any constructor. So let's make a class that's called cat. As you know, it should have some private and public methods and variables. I like to put all the variables private because we don't need to access them. The cat can have age and it can have a name, but we should include string library, so we have all the functions that use strings, and the public with a class that won't have a constructor will have these functions: to get age of the cat, to get its name. As you may notice, I'm not writing the code immediately, I'm just prototyping the functions, and I'm going to show you how to write the code down below. Also, we would need two or one function that we should call after we declare an object, and that function should initialize the class. That would be done automatically via constructor if we had one declared, but in this example we won't use constructors. Let's make a function that will be called init, and it will have a few parameters. The first one is for name and the second one is for age. Also, the cat can have functions like this, and it can introduce itself. So now when we declare an object from this class, we would do something like this: cat1, and we could call cat1 init, and we should say the name of the cat is going to be Frisky and its age would be 2. So this does not work yet. We need to add some things here. So in order to add code to these functions that are in our class, the functions are defined a little bit different. In order to define a function getAge, we would do something like this: int, then we type the name of the class, 2 colons, and getAge. We'll open and close this, and we would do return age. So we should make getName also. It's gonna be string, and we're gonna return name. Also, we can make the meow function. Oops, not a semicolon here, and it will say meow. Also, we're gonna make an introduce function, so cat introduce, and the cat will say meow. Oh no, we can do this. We can call our function meow, and then we're gonna say my name is, and we print the name, age, and line. As you can see, other functions can call other functions from the class, so you should know that. And now we can run our program for you to see that we should build ours. Resolve external. Interesting. This shouldn't happen. We should try to rebuild it. It says again the same. Probably I missed something for the initialized. Oh yeah, I didn't make an initializing function. I didn't define the init function. So we need to do also that because it won't work. String NA and AG for age, and this will set the age and name to NA. Also, when we run the program now, nothing will happen because we didn't call any of the sub functions. So we can say introduce, and we run the program. It will say meow, my name is Frisky and I'm 2 years old, which is very nice. Now, so in order to not do this initializing every time we create a class, which is not the problem, but it's better to not do it like that, we need to use constructors. They're a very interesting topic, and they're a more efficient way of doing, because it's done when the declaration is made. So we could do something like this: cat, and we're gonna say Frisky, and we're gonna say 2. We would declare a cat like that. We can immediately call the introduce function. Now do this. In order to do that, we need to define a constructor. Constructor is called like the class, and it does not have a return type. It does not have void or anything. It's just prototype like this. So this is a prototype function, and we would write it here, and we would say only cat. So sorry, cat. C is case sensitive, and we should add this. We can delete this initialize function because we don't need it anymore, and string NA integer AG. We can set the age, the name. Now when we run the program, this will be completely right. It works without a problem. We can define a cat2, cat B, for example. It will be called different biscuit, for example. It will be 10 years old, and we can say cat B introduce. When we run that, it works. Also, if you've noticed that the meow is a public function, and we can call it anytime. For example, we can say cat B meow. But what if we don't want to do that? What if we only want to access the meow from our class, not from the public? So anyone can call the meow function, but we want it to be able to be called from within our class. So in order to do that, we should move this in the private section. So now this is not a valid statement. If you type the dot, you see we can only call these 3 functions. But when we run the introduce, the meow function is called, as you can see. So introduce can call meow, or getName can also call meow. Any function can call meow because it's located within our class, but the public can't call the function. So that's an interesting thing. Also, when calling this with a constructor like this, we can add other stuff in constructor. It's basically for initializing the values, and it's not bad. For example, if we have some counter n, for example, that we use for something, we could say that n is equal to 0 or is equal to 5, for example, and we could have a function that will be, for example, get n. So you can see, and define it right here, so you know this doesn't matter where in the code we define these functions from the class. So we can say int cat get n, and also we don't need to do that like that because it's a single line statement, single line code, and this is a waste of space. So we could do that in one line, for example, like this, just return n, and that will be more efficient. It does not make the code messy, it looks nice, and it does the job like any of these functions. We could also do this in one line, and this. You can also write anything here in a class, but it won't look nice then. This gives us the ability to make it structurable and move our class in another file, so you could include the file like any library like this and use the class without even having it here. But I'm going to cover that a little bit later. So let's finish this with n that we started. So we can now print, for example, cat b get n and line. As you can see, the cat b will have the value 5 that's initialized when the constructor is called. So basically this constructor gives us the ability to initialize the values, to call some functions if we need, and it's a very useful thing. It's used for telling our program how to initialize other variables. Also, you can do anything in it like in an ordinary function. So if your call does not have a defined constructor, C++ would assign a default one, like in the first example that we did. And that default constructor does not do anything, so it's pointless. But note that if we try to define an object now without any parameters, so we want to say cat c, if we wanted to do that, we couldn't. We need to add now. We need now to add the name and the age of the cat. We could do that by overloading our constructor, and that's done like this. We should type cat again like this, as you can see, and then this becomes okay. So we would type here cat, and we would say that age is equal to 0 and name is gonna be unnamed, and the end is gonna be 0. And if we make a cat like that with an overload function, you can make 5 or 4 overloads of this function, and they could have different parameters, different stuff and things like that. And when we call the cat c introduce, it would say my name is unnamed and I'm 0 years old. You can also overload other functions, not only the constructor. But in most cases you probably won't need the default constructor. I also wanted to show you how to move this class in another file. So we should go to our Solution Explorer and right click, add new item, like for the main C++, but we're gonna add a header file that will be called, for example, I like to call the header file and the C++ file of the class the same name as the class. So we're gonna call it cat.age. As you can see, we have our cat.age now here, and we could copy the whole class like this here. Also, we would need to include string iostream here and space std, and in the main one we would only do include with this cat.age, because these double quotes tell the compiler that our cat.age header file is located in our current working directory and not in the header directory that's for our compiler. Also, we should go here again, add new item, and we need a C++ file that's gonna be also called cat, and that C++ file will contain all these functions. I'm gonna zoom this in. I'm gonna include cat.age file like this, and in the main program it looks a lot nicer, and we have 3 files. When we run it, the program works. That's basically it about this tutorial. It's a little bit long, but I hope that it makes sense to you and I helped you understand some basic things about classes. If you have any questions, you can freely contact me via comments or send me a message in inbox. I will be glad to answer you. And thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel and see you in the next tutorial.